Hi guys, Matt from footballboots.co.uk, and in today's video we will be doing a comparison between Puma's all new and entire evoTOUCH range from the elite level pro version, kids edition and through to the 1, 2 and 3 scaled down models to help you identify the differences between each and select the right evoTOUCH boot for you. If you'd like a pair of the premium evoTOUCH Pro and want 10% off, then click onto our website and use the voucher code BLACKORANGE thanks to Lovell Soccer. The recently released and revolutionary evoTOUCH collection is Puma's latest silo to pose alongside its fast-paced Evo Speed and aptly named Evo Power to offer a more control-infused boot. But what are the actual differences between each evoTOUCH boot in the range? Well, we've read your questions on our evoTOUCH review, which you can click on now, but here's our all-out guide to Puma's latest innovation. So just to mention at the start of the video, the evoTOUCH Pro that we do have, we've blacked them out. So we did have that white form strap as seen on the evoTOUCH 1, but we did black it out just to give it a bit of a stealthy look and create a blackout video of the evoTOUCH. So the first thing that we're going to look at is the price of the evoTOUCH range. Now the Pro version, which players such as Cesc Fabregas and Verratti wear, they do retail at £200, so they are a premium price and a premium boot. If you want a slightly more cheaper model, then you can go for the evoTOUCH 1, which is £150, so £50 cheaper, and we'll get into detail why it is a little bit cheaper later in the video, so stay tuned. The evoTOUCH Kids, this is the one model as well, that is going to be £100, so it's very similar to this adult version of the evoTOUCH 1, so the evoTOUCH Kids is £100, which is the same price as the evoTOUCH 2 for adults, which is £100, and then the evoTOUCH 3 comes in at the cheapest and most scaled down model at just £60. So who actually wears the boots and who are they aimed for? Well, the evoTOUCH Pro, as said, are headlined by Cesc Fabregas for Chelsea and also Marco Verratti for Juventus, those midfield players. So if you are an elite level footballer or a player playing at quite a high level, then the evoTOUCH Pro probably is the boot for you due to how high quality it actually is. For the club players, you can go for the evoTOUCH 1, slightly scaled down compared to the evoTOUCH Pro, and we'll go into the differences there. But for more club players who don't play at those elite levels, then the evoTOUCH 1 is a great boot for you. The evoTOUCH 1 for kids, again, that is obviously for the youth players who aren't into the adult sizes yet. So if you are a young player and you want a really good level football boot, then the evoTOUCH 1 for kids is a great option. And then we've also got the evoTOUCH 2, £100 for the amateur players. And then for the evoTOUCH 3 is more suited to the social players that don't want to spend a lot of money on their boots. So one of the most noticeable features about the evoTOUCH Pro when taking it straight out of the box is how light they actually are. Now they only weigh 209 grams, which is very, very light, especially for a K-leather boot, and there's lots of K-leather on this boot. It is only 209 grams. One thing that might not be as great compared to the evoTOUCH 1 is its durability because of how thin and lightweight it is. Now pro players can get away with this because they probably get a new pair every 3 or 4 games. So although they are very light and soft and thin, the durability might not be there, but those pro players do get a new pair every 3 or 4 games. So a real positive feature of the evoTOUCH 1 compared to the evoTOUCH Pro is it's going to be a lot more durable and will last over a season, hopefully with a bit of care to that upper. They're 294 grams, so about 90 grams heavier than what the evoTOUCH Pro does offer. So if you are a player that wants that boot for a long time, then the evoTOUCH 1 is definitely going to do a better job compared to the evoTOUCH Pro. But as mentioned, those pro players will be getting a new pair every 4, 5, 6 games of the evoTOUCH Pro. So the evoTOUCH 1, slightly heavy at 294 grams, but they will be a lot more durable. The evoTOUCH for kids, so this kind of model, but in a smaller size, they're 194 grams. And the evoTOUCH 2 is 270 grams. So although it is a more scaled down model compared to the evoTOUCH 1, it is a little bit lighter, about 25 grams lighter, and it's probably because it doesn't feature that same calf leather that the evoTOUCH 1 has. It has a synthetic version which will be slightly lighter. And then the evoTOUCH 3, again, it's a synthetic upper, so it will be even lighter, 290 grams the evoTOUCH 3 is. So that's only about 10 grams more than the evoTOUCH Pro. So the evoTOUCH 3 is 219 grams because of those cheaper synthetic materials. So the biggest difference compared to the evoTOUCH Pro to the evoTOUCH 1 is of course that upper. So the evoTOUCH Pro was very thin and soft, and what the evoTOUCH 1 has is a slightly thicker material. It's not a K-leather, it's a calf leather, so it still is genuine leather. We can just see from the embossed stamp here that that is a real leather mark. So it is leather, it's calf leather, slightly thicker, slightly stiffer. We can just see in hand we can see that it's just a little bit stiffer compared to what the Evo Pro does offer. It's got that rippling effect, lots of wrinkles going on there when we press in. The evoTOUCH 1, just a little bit stiffer. It does have a little bit of wrinkling still and some creasing and that rippling effect, but it's not as premium. But overall, for the price of £150, you're still going to get a pretty top level football boot. As mentioned, the evoTOUCH for kids is very similar to the evoTOUCH 1 for the adults. So you're going to get that calf leather again, it's exactly the same. Runs from the entire boot, from the heel all the way to the toe box here, and it is that calf leather again, slightly stiffer and slightly thicker than what the Pro does offer, but it is going to be more durable. So the evoTOUCH for kids again is that calf leather. The evoTOUCH 2 is even more scaled down. It's a scaled down leather, so it is still a leather material, but it is very much more scaled down, so it's going to be even stiffer and thicker than what you'll find on this evoTOUCH 1. And then finishing up the range is the evoTOUCH 3, which isn't leather, it's a synthetic. It has a leather-like finish, so you might get that kind of grainy material on the evoTOUCH 3, but it's going to be stiffer and thicker compared to what the evoTOUCH 2 and evoTOUCH 1 does offer, and it is that, again, that synthetic material. So if you are looking for a leather boot, then you probably should opt for the evoTOUCH 2 or even the evoTOUCH 1. So arguably the most noticeable feature of the evoTOUCH is of course its EvoKnit collar. It takes a little bit of inspiration from Nike's Dynamic Fit and also Adidas's Tech Fit, but they've given it its own spin. There's very high Achilles tab region here which goes up into the back of the foot, but don't worry, although it does angle towards the Achilles, it doesn't create any pressure points. It's very soft and thin, and when Tom actually tested and reviewed the boot, he said it was actually very comfortable. So don't worry about any pain or discomfort caused from that angle of the back of the collar here, the EvoKnit collar. It's very, very soft, and we can see that it raises high at the back and then high at the front of the foot as well, and then dips a little bit lower on the ankle, especially compared to Nike's Dynamic Fit, which is much more level here. So it is just a little bit lower compared to that. Now what the evoTOUCH 1 has, it does feature that collar again. It's very similar in style to the evoTOUCH Pro, but there is just a slight little bit of difference in the height. So I think the evoTOUCH Pro does come up slightly more aggressive compared to what the evoTOUCH 1 does. We can see that it has those GripTex pods here. There's 3 on the evoTOUCH Pro, and on the evoTOUCH 1 it just has those 2. So that could just be a little notification that it doesn't feature as high as what you'll find on the evoTOUCH Pro. But it does still feature that collar, that EvoKnit, and it is very, very soft and flexible as we can see here. So it does create that very nice comfortable sock-like fit for players lacing up in the evoTOUCH range. So with both the evoTOUCH Pro and evoTOUCH 1 models featuring the EvoKnit collar, how does the evoTOUCH Kids compare? And it actually features a slightly shortened collar than what you'll find on the evoTOUCH 1. It isn't as high, especially on the front of the boot here. It actually cuts off where maybe a normal tongue would. It's not as high, and that is also on the same on the evoTOUCH 2 and evoTOUCH 3. So the evoTOUCH for Kids, it does feature that EvoKnit collar at the back especially, but at the front it's just a little bit shorter, which is actually the same on the evoTOUCH 2 and evoTOUCH 3, as you can see by the pictures, but there are some subtle differences. Now, a small feature of a pair of football boots, which I'm actually a big fan of, is an external heel counter. Now, the evoTOUCH Pro, the evoTOUCH 1, the evoTOUCH Kids and the evoTOUCH 2 all feature an external heel counter, which we can see we've got the Pro version here. It's that external heel counter which just cuts the back of the heel and also flows into that sole plate. And we can see here on the evoTOUCH 1, it is slightly different. It doesn't merge as seamlessly with the sole plate compared to the Pro, but it is still an external heel counter. We can just see here that on the evoTOUCH 1, which will be the same on the evoTOUCH for Kids, there's 2 materials on the plastic. On the evoTOUCH 1, we've got the heel counter here merging with the sole plate, but on the evoTOUCH Pro it's a lot more seamless, kind of one material flowing together. Moving on from the heel counter onto the sole plate, and we can see that both the evoTOUCH Pro and the evoTOUCH 1 feature their PUMA Speed Track sole plate. Very popular. It's been around for a long time now for PUMA, and it does actually perform really well. It's very, very stiff in the midfoot regions, but then becomes more flexible at the toe box, so you do get some really nice acceleration and responsiveness in there. So the evoTOUCH Pro features that speed track, the evoTOUCH 1 and also the evoTOUCH for Kids as well features the speed track, evoTOUCH 2 again, another speed track, and then the evoTOUCH 3, it just has a cheaper TPU material sole plate, which isn't going to be as stiff or responsive compared to these speed track models. But again, it is that more scaled down boot. It's only £60, so it doesn't feature those same high quality materials compared to the Pro 1 and evoTOUCH 2 models. Looking at the stud configurations of the evoTOUCH range, we've got the evoTOUCH 1 in hand, and we can see that on this Speed Track Soleplate, it's got a lot of conical studs here. It's got one little support stud here, which is a bit more of a bladed design, but again, it still does feature those conical studs across the remainder of the boot. So it's going to offer some really good rotational traction, and that is obviously aimed at those more midfielder players, central midfielders like Cesc Fabregas and Marco Verratti, who do like to get on the ball and make those quick, sharp cuts and turns. So it is ideal for those type of players, or players who want that kind of boot. So if you want something really responsive and you're maybe a winger or a forward, you could go for the Evo Speed, which does feature a couple of more bladed studs, but if you are someone who wants that real control and ability to swivel very quickly, then the evoTOUCH is going to offer you that. So these conical studs feature on the evoTOUCH Pro, the evoTOUCH 1, the evoTOUCH for kids, and also the evoTOUCH 2. But what you find on the evoTOUCH 3, which you can see on the screen now in a picture, it features a little bit of a mix compared to the other boots. They feature just conical studs, but the evoTOUCH 3 has conical and bladed studs. So that's something to look out for. If you do want that little bit more responsiveness maybe, then the evoTOUCH 3 with the mixed sole plate is going to offer a little bit more compared to the more conical studs of the evoTOUCH Pro 1 and 2 model. So a real standout innovation brought into the evoTOUCH range from PUMA is the new GripTex technology, which features on both the evoTOUCH Pro and also the evoTOUCH 1, and it is just there to increase the grip within the shoe when you're wearing socks. And also the evoTOUCH Pro can be worn barefoot, they say, because it does have the GripTex technology running throughout the entire inner lining. Here we can see it's on the heel tab and also within the boot. Hopefully we can see that it does have that arrowhead kind of design all the way through the boot, so you can wear it barefoot. I've taken out the insole, so it does come with an additional insole, that evoTOUCH Pro. Just take a closer look at these little grippy pods here in the black colour, and it is just there to increase a little bit of grip, and that's also on the bottom of the sock liner as well. You can just see that has that design. These are quite raised, so if you do want to wear the boots barefoot, you don't have to wear these, but if you want to wear your socks, then you can stick these in and it will be perfect for you as well. This is the sock liner of the evoTOUCH 1, so you can't actually wear these without the insole in. So I'll just bring this boot, I took it out of the left one. We can just see here that it is that hard material, so I wouldn't suggest wearing the evoTOUCH 1 barefoot. So you do have to have these sock liners in there, but we can just see it has that GripTex listed here by PUMA all across that sock liner, which is just going to increase the grip just a little bit more. So I think the biggest shame with the evoTOUCH for kids compared to the evoTOUCH Pro and the evoTOUCH 1 models is that it doesn't actually feature that GripTex technology. It's just a graphic that they've added to inside of the boot. So although this is the adults version, the kids version of this boot, it only features the graphic of the GripTex and not actually that kind of grippy material. So although it's listed to say that it does have that GripTex, they don't actually feature it. It's just to make it look like it does. So in terms of any performance enhancements, it's not going to be there, and that is also the same on the evoTOUCH 2 and evoTOUCH 3. So although the evoTOUCH Kids is £100, it's still a lot of money for a kid's boot, and it says that it does have the GripTex. It doesn't actually feature it, so if you are looking to get these boots and you're a kid, then don't expect to get your evoTOUCH boots through with lots of GripTex going on inside of the boot. It'll just be a printed graphic applied onto that kind of material within the heel liner. So guys, that brings us to the end of the PUMA evoTOUCH range comparison. But what do the differences actually mean? Well, as realised, there's not actually a huge amount of difference between Pro and the evoTOUCH 1 models, with the quality of leather being the only real significant difference. If you want one of the softest, thinnest and luxury K-leather uppers, then go for the Pro version. But if you're happy with a less barefoot sensation for £50 less, then the evoTOUCH 1 could be the boot for you. The Kids evoTOUCH 1 offers almost identical features to the adults version, apart from a slightly shortened collar, and perhaps it's a shame that there isn't actually a Pro version for the younger generation. Club and amateur players can also lace up in the evoTOUCH 2 or 3 for much cheaper prices. However, there is a noticeable lack of premium material, so touch and feel won't be as close to the higher end models, especially the Plus evoTOUCH Pro. As always guys, give us a comment on your thoughts and like the video if you enjoyed it or the boots themselves. Thanks for watching, cheers.